For as long as humans have feared being overweight, people have swallowed poison, infected themselves with parasites, smoked cigarettes for hunger, and even electrocuted their bodies trying to become thinner. Some of these treatments were sold by doctors. Others were advertised in newspapers beside children's toys and breakfast cereal. And many of them killed people slowly while promising beauty, health, and the perfect body. Tonight, you'll walk through the darkest and strangest weight loss treatments in history. And somehow, the deeper you go into history, the worse they become.
In the 1800s, body standards began changing dramatically. For centuries, being slightly heavier often symbolized wealth. It meant you could afford food during a time when many people could not. But by the Victorian era, thinness slowly became associated with elegance, discipline, and upper-class beauty, especially for women. Corsets squeezed organs inward to create impossibly narrow waists. Some women trained their bodies for years to permanently reshape their ribs. Breathing became difficult. Fainting became common. And yet, fainting itself became strangely fashionable. A pale, weak appearance suggested delicacy. Fragility became beauty. Doctors at the time often blamed weight gain on laziness, moral weakness, or female hysteria, creating enormous shame around eating. And that shame created a market, a very dangerous market. Because once people become desperate enough, they will try almost anything.
Perhaps no historical weight loss method sounds more horrifying than this one: the tapeworm diet. The idea was simple. If a parasite lived inside your body and consumed part of your food, you would lose weight. And unbelievably, people actually bought tapeworm pills. Advertisements from the late 1800s and early 1900s promised effortless slimming. Eat what you want and still become thin. But the reality was far worse. Tapeworms can grow several meters long inside the human intestines. Some people developed severe malnutrition, vomiting, chronic pain, intestinal blockages, seizures. In certain cases, parasite larvae migrated into the brain and eyes. And removing the worms wasn't always easy. Doctors sometimes used toxic chemicals to force the parasite out. Other times, pieces of the worm remained inside the body and simply regrew. People willingly infected themselves with parasites in pursuit of thinness. And history would only become stranger from there.
During the 1800s and early 1900s, arsenic was secretly added to countless beauty and health products, including weight loss pills. Tiny doses of arsenic can temporarily increase metabolism and create a pale complexion. At first, users sometimes believed the pills were working miracles, until symptoms began appearing. Stomach pain, hair loss, vomiting, nerve damage, hallucinations, slow organ failure. The terrifying part was that many users didn't even realize they were poisoning themselves. Patent medicine companies rarely listed ingredients honestly. There were almost no safety regulations. A person could buy dangerous chemicals from traveling salesmen, newspaper ads, or local pharmacies with little oversight. By the time authorities cracked down on many of these products, thousands had already consumed them. But poison wasn't the only thing marketed for weight loss. Soon, cigarettes entered the industry.
In the early 1900s, cigarette companies aggressively targeted women using weight loss advertising. Some ads openly suggested smoking instead of eating. One infamous slogan encouraged women to reach for a cigarette instead of a sweet. Nicotine suppresses appetite temporarily, and tobacco companies understood this very well. Thinness became linked to glamour, fashion, and self-control. Hollywood helped accelerate the trend. Elegant actresses appeared constantly with cigarettes in hand, creating an image of sophistication and beauty. But behind the advertisements
were collapsing lungs, heart disease, addiction, and cancer. Millions would die from smoking-related illness during the decades that followed. Yet the fear of gaining weight remained powerful enough that many continued anyway, even when they knew the risks. And in some cases, the treatments became even more extreme. By the mid-1900s, bizarre electric slimming devices began appearing across Europe and America. Some machines wrapped belts around the stomach, thighs, or arms and violently vibrated the body. Others delivered electric shocks directly into muscles. Advertisements claimed the machines could melt fat away without exercise. Women sat inside salons while strange mechanical belts rattled their bodies for long sessions. The machines looked less like medical equipment and more like torture devices. Most did very little, but some caused burns, pain, dizziness, and muscle injuries. Still, people continued searching for shortcuts because weight loss industries have always sold the same dream: a faster body transformation with less suffering. Ironically, the pursuit of that dream often created even more suffering instead. As pharmaceutical industries grew, dangerous diet pills exploded in popularity. Amphetamines became one of the biggest examples. Doctors prescribed them widely for weight loss during the mid-1900s. The drugs reduced appetite and increased energy. Patients often lost weight quickly, but many also developed paranoia, insomnia, hallucinations, addiction, heart problems. Some users stayed awake for days. Others suffered mental breakdowns. Even after restrictions increased, new pills kept appearing. Some caused heart valve damage. Others triggered strokes or fatal heart rhythms. Again and again, society repeated the same cycle. A miracle cure appears. People rush toward it. And years later, the damage becomes... Looking back at these treatments now, they seem horrifying. Parasites, poison, starvation, addictive drugs, machines that shook the human body like broken furniture. And yet, many people at the time believed they were making rational choices, because fear changes behavior. Fear of rejection, fear of aging, fear of being judged, fear of not fitting society's definition of beauty. History shows that humans will endure astonishing pain in pursuit of transformation. And perhaps the strangest part is this: even after centuries of failed treatments, dangerous fads, and deadly shortcuts, the promise of effortless weight loss still remains one of the most profitable ideas on Earth. Because every generation believes, maybe this time, the miracle is real.